afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. We will resume the council session. Ms. Lawhead, could you ask our testimonials to please come back to the podium?
Camille Duchesse, Chief Administrative Officer, Candy Jones, Chief Human Resources Officer, and Melissa Scott, Chief Information Officer.
To kick off this round, the chair recognizes Councilmember Phillips. I'm sorry, Councilmember Jones, then Councilmember Phillips. Then we have Hardy and Rulandow.
So we may actually get you out of here relatively quickly. But how many attempts have there been? You read about people hacking into systems all over the country, all over the world. How has Philadelphia fared in that regard? Say your name. Hacking.
Melissa Scott, Chief Information Officer. So, repeat the question to make sure that I understand it clearly.
So, municipalities around the world have been hacked into by actors that want to spread a virus, want to tamper with utilities such as water, everything from bank accounts to confidential information on criminal activity. How have we fared in fending off those types of attacks?
So, we made a huge investment from the dollars from the last fiscal, and 90%, there was a 90% decrease in malicious phishing emails that have been reported. Our investment is proactive in email blocking and successful in keeping malicious lures from out-of-city inboxes. There's also a 69% drop in high-risk suspicious sign-in attempts as well, recorded through Microsoft 365 logins, fewer phishing emails as well, directly correlated to fewer utilization intrusion attempts. Our perimeter defense is working.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Chair recognizes Councilmember Dr. Anthony Phillips.
Thank you so much, Council President. I just wanted to, I had a question for Director Jones. Earlier you said that you are working with department head HR representatives around improving their ability to strengthen their processes, right? You're just going over, are you mandating this, or is this something you can mandate, or is this something that is suggestive that you can work on?
Thank you for the question.
Yeah.
So as with part of the launch of CHRO Circles, we broke the HR managers up into 3 groups. And the leadership team at OHR and myself are meeting directly with the departments in order to standardize. To your point, we want to be able to deliver the HR service delivery in a consistent and uniform way across the city. Separately, though, as part of the centralization efforts that we're looking at right now, looking at each HR center of excellence, we are looking at what the relationship to the HR director looks like for HR managers, right? To your point, having accountability reporting back, make sure there's adequate oversight from the Office of Human Resources into the decentralized HR managers.
Right.
That is an ongoing conversation, but also includes reporting relationship, yes.
I ask that because I just think that if there's almost like a McDonaldization
Right.
of the HR departments, every department does the same thing, and that standard is being reviewed, we will have a lot more closure potentially with some of our vacancies.
I agree. I will say we have gotten a really excellent response from the HR community with the additional oversight and the support and the relationship building that we've done in the past year with each department. And so we are hopeful that that effort will be ongoing. But again, we are having conversations about reporting structure and what that looks like for HR across the city.
Thank you. I want to commend you on the HR bus. I also want to continue to commend you on the work that you're doing with the social media publishing. But I also want to talk about something we follow up with you about, because we worked on the things we talked about, which was great. Thank you for that. But will you implement the suggestion that I made around publishing the timeline for hiring going forward with all hiring in the city of Philadelphia?
So we have, actually. We implemented, since we last spoke, we didn't get a chance to follow up with you on what we implemented. But yeah, so in two ways. One, we have the timeline being communicated to candidates after they apply for jobs. We also published it on the website as per your request. And so I can share the graphic after this conversation, but we created a graphic that is very transparent with candidates, showing them each part of the process with an associated timeline, right? So the 2 weeks of posting, the 4 weeks of review, the 6 to 8 weeks of testing and being called by departments. We publish that on our public-facing website. So it's not just applicants that can see that information, it is citywide. So I will share that with you as a follow-up.
Okay, and then also, can you just go over what is causing the biggest delays when it comes to the civil service exam, or just hiring delays in general? Is it the exam development, the eligible list, or department hiring decisions? And how much is the salary for the CME fellows? And I just want to, because I'm curious about that. That's 28 positions.
Okay, so for the timeline, I'll answer that part first.
Okay.
So on the OHR side, our process takes about 30 to 45 days, roughly, depending on the type of exam. Where we're seeing the majority of the delays are on the departmental side after we establish the eligible list. But we are, so that's that work with the departments, right? Like that consultative work with them in order to streamline their process. It's also leveraging our technologies, right? And how are we scheduling interviews? How are we kind of speeding up? Once a list is established and available, we need the timeline to where we're contacting candidates and then getting actual butts in seats is what we're working on shortening.
And Chief Administrator Officer Camille, would you just tell me when should we see those? Thank you, Ken. When should we see those SLA timelines delivered that we discussed earlier in the last round?
The service standard timelines?
Yeah, yep.
You should see them by the end of this next quarter.
The end of the next quarter. Okay. All right. Thank you. And I just want to also commend. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I wanted to answer the question about CCME fellows. The
Yes.
salary, about $40,000.
$40,000. Okay. So I do want to commend Chief Innovation Officer Melissa Scott for some work that she's doing around the 311 mobile app. As you all know, 311 has a significant problem in the city, and I'm hoping that which 311 people will be working closely with OIT on that issue going forward. So,
may I have a point of information, please?
Go ahead.
Dr. Yo. But on the 311 app, could you just clarify how we will address if the issue has been completed in real time? Because oftentimes we do get calls and something will say it's completed and then it wouldn't be completed and the constituents will give us like an earful saying, why is this the case? So how does the app address that part?
So the main issue is actually the CRM, which is the customer relation management system. The issue is that, so first, if you don't mind, I just want to explain what 311 does.
Yes.
So 311 takes in the service requests across different channels. They log these requests and categorize them. Then they route them to the specific departments, and then they track the statuses and provide the updates to the residents, and they do reporting. That's what their system does. But what they really are, they're a call center, but everyone treats them as if they're the department that does the work. They're really a centralized unit that does everything, comes in. They're like, it's like a bus station almost, right? But the issue is that the systems do not integrate with that 311 system. So what you're seeing is the data not being presented to the resident correctly. So for instance, an abandoned car, the constituent calls in and they say, you know, I'm reporting this abandoned car. Then the system tells them that it was completed. And then the resident looks out their window and says, but it's still there. Because when the department, police picks up that particular case, the system, they're saying in the system, we have it, but the system is interpreting it as it's complete. So they send it over to the resident as complete. No, it completely transferred to the department. So what we're going to do is we're going to we need all the departments to come together and to work on proper SLAs. We need to know how long does it normally take in order to remove an abandoned car. So we can clearly communicate that. Then we want the system to show where the resident can go in and see, I submitted it, someone is now working on it, and then it's being completed. But in order for that to happen, you need integration between all the systems of the other departments.
And when is that going to happen? Is there like a 311
yes.
integration task force?
So what the timeline we have is from May to September, we're going to gather the requirements. What that means is we need all the departments to have a representative to participate in this conversation. This is, the mayor talks about intergovernmental, this is interdepartmental cooperation. This is not an easy feat. This is difficult because we need everyone to be engaged long enough to get the information. Once we get that, we're going to go out to RFI, a request for information, to see what applications fit. But what's really important, what I'm saying here, is each department has to be engaged so they can tell us what specifically do they need so we know how we need to integrate with their system. Every system is differently. So we can have one central source of truth now, which will be 311 after we finish that. So we go out to RFI, we see whatever is what systems work best, and what you'll see in FY28, then we'll put the request in for the funds for the solution, and if the money is available, then we'll be able to procure the proper solution and start to integrate it, so now we can finally fix the problem. The reason why it hasn't been tackled is because it's interdepartmental cooperation that needs to happen. 311 themselves cannot solve this. They're just a call center.
Yes, however, I still believe it's 311's responsibility because it is the platform that our constituents call, right? And when they do call, they're expecting a complaint or service request to be completed in real time, right? Because again, when I get that note saying it's completed and it's not completed, rather it's departmental cooperation, sharing of information, I'm just looking at the end goal on our end is when that person sees that it's completed, we officially knows it's completed. So, but I understand it's a work in progress is what you're saying, to integrate the system and bring all the department heads to the table to talk about what their system needs, correct?
Yes, and what you've been seeing prior to this time is OIT putting a blind eye to 311. Now here, as me, as the leader of OIT, I'm saying, hey, no, we're responsible for solutions. We're going to help you build this solution. We're not going to leave 311 out on an island thinking that they can solve an IT solution. As the leader of OIT, we're going to get in the middle of it and we're going to help solve this problem.
Now, one more question. Point of information. Member
Before
Jones?
you leave off that, it didn't used to be. Under Sandra Mills, that's a name many people won't remember, she ran 311, and what she employed was a 1.5 to 2 dozen actual caseworkers. And so they might have had a book that thick and remembered when you called, got back to you personally to say, it is done. Not have done, but done. And I don't know when we evolved away from that.
Yeah. There's definitely a disconnect between the communication through the system and the department. The department actually does the work, but when they're communicating back to the 311 system, what they're communicating is incorrect, and that's why it's going to the resident incorrectly.
I'm clear with you on that. I got confidence that you're going to get it done, but it's an extreme priority for us in terms of doing constituent services. And then one last part, and I'll give it back to Dr. Phillips. You also talked about, I guess, under the new system. In my mind, I'm thinking it's like DoorDash app.
Yes.
Right? When you apply for DoorDash, it says you place your order, preparing your order, order about to be picked up, then you know it's about to get to your house. That how the model would be in terms of, and I think this is along the line of Dr. Phillips saying, if we could let people know,
Yes,
you apply for this pothole to get addressed, we're reviewing the pothole, next we're expecting it, completed. I think that's dope.
yes. As far as the mobile app is concerned, that
Excuse me,
integration.
for the record, not dope, awesome.
Yes. That feature is part of the new interface that we're building now in-house for the first time, our first mobile app in-house built. That feature is being built in. The issue is that we still have to solve the miscommunication and misinformation of the data. So once we get that tightened up, it will work exactly as you mentioned.
Okay. Shout out to the 311 team. We saw them at the Block Captains Rally, and they were down there doing a good job and engaging the people. So all the teams was, but I did have a good time talking. I don't know the young man's name, but he was down there excited about this app that was coming. He actually showed me. He's like, let's go on the
Yes.
phone.
That's
and
it.
showed me. So, Chair recognizes Councilman Phillips. Back to your time.
Thank you, Council President. That DoorDash that Amazon dashboard is what I've been getting at with 311, and looking forward to you continuing that effort to fix all that. And just my final question was for Chief Human Resources Director. Oh God, I've just butchered your title, Candy Jones. What accountability mechanisms exist when hiring delays occur after OHR completes its portion of the process? Does the data show the time it takes from the date the job announcement has been made to the actual hiring, to the interview, to then also the offer?
Great question, yes. So the data shows all parts of the process in a high level of detail. We have it globally for the entire city, and then we also break it down by department. And so we report out that information. So we know exactly which departments are taking which length of time, to your point, from the eligible list to the actual hire. So that part of it we can share with council as well.
Thanks.
And so we do, sorry, sir, we
Yeah.
do follow up with the departments about like their time to hire. My leadership team works very comprehensively, very closely with HR managers about what their bottlenecks are, what we can do to improve their service delivery on that end. And so that is ongoing work.
I just want to make a 10-second comment that one of the things that I'm hoping that Chief Administrative Officer can review with you is the idea of having a separate unit focused with arborists that will just be for neighborhoods. Right now, our tree arborists that do the pruning and the cutting, they're spread throughout the entire city from our parks, street, other related issues, but they're not dedicated just to residential tree pruning and cutting, which is why we see delays. We do not have any, just so you know, Chief Administrative Officer Camille, we do not have any service level agreements that are strong when it comes to arborists in the city of Philadelphia. So I'm just hoping that we can have that change going forward, if you want to speak on that.
We do partner with Parks and Recreation. Our understanding right now, they've had a lot of retirements within like that tree maintenance worker job classification that we discussed. And so I think they have about 8 vacancies right now. There are some ongoing conversations and partnerships that we have with Saul to be able to do some upskilling, to be able to get more employees into that job classification. But we continue that work, and we do work very closely with Parks and Recreation. We're happy to do so with the Chief Administrative Office as well.
Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Rulandell, and Councilman Jim Harity, and Councilmember Majority Captain Gilmore Richardson.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, Member Harity. I need to jump ahead for a second, sorry. I have a few more questions, and I'm gonna rattle them off first. But the first is around tech procurement. The second is around digital navigators and the Verizon franchise agreement. The third is more about OIT and data security. So going to tech procurement, tech vendors say it takes too long to secure or extend a contract with the city beyond pilot status. What is the normal process for a tech vendor to be selected to receive a city contract? Do these vendors traditionally have a similar timeline to other vendors? And is there a way in which we can fast track tech vendors who show promise via pilot programs with the city to a long-term agreement. There are good examples nationally in California, locally in Montgomery County, where they recognize the purchase of technology is unique and therefore often offer more flexibility. With the Verizon franchise agreement, I know that we got, $2 million to add more, to add computer systems into our rec centers. And so I wanted to know how that's going, how we're doing there. And then with the connection to OIT, we keep talking about, I know there's vacancies at OIT that we're trying to fill. There's vacancies in other city departments as well. Are we in any way changing job descriptions to add tech qualifications to them? For example, at the libraries and the rec centers where we have computers and we know so much of the public comes in order to utilize our computers to apply for jobs and otherwise. I would love a detail also of the vacancies at OIT, kind of the top level vacancies, so we can see if there's any way we can tweak them, to help fill them and to tweak that list if needed. That can come after today. And the last one, I just wanted to go back to, we've asked a couple of times about OIT and data security. And I asked, and I didn't feel like I got a straight answer, and then when Councilmember Brooks asked, she was told that would be with law to answer that question. And I really want to be assured that everywhere we are collecting data, regardless of when we are fully implementing our AI policies and whatnot, that we know that these are secure, and also double down that I think this is extremely important, and the reason why council must have a seat on the AI governance committee.
Okay, so you want to go in order, tech procurement?
Sure, I'll start with tech. I'll start with tech procurement, and then a little bit of that is yours, and you can segue into yours.
Sure.
So with respect to tech procurement, timelines can be a little bit longer than other types of procurement, particularly because of the cybersecurity requirements, which can lengthen the negotiation phase, and it's less frequent that firms will just sign on to our terms and conditions also. So in terms of average lengths of time and procurement, those things get dragged out. Additionally, with respect to your comment about piloting, that's an area of concern to me, in that when you go down a pilot, if the strategy isn't well defined up front, then you get into difficulties with fair and open competition, where you've pre-selected a pilot and now it becomes the foregone conclusion and solution if it succeeds. You really haven't gone through any sort of competitive sourcing. And so unless you affirmatively go into that as some sort of exception where you're going to sole source and pilot it, then that becomes problematic. It is possible to pilot more than one provider or technology or solution, and I've seen that done very successfully. But right now, the city's process does not necessarily automatically build that in. It is something that I intend to build into our business processes here to leverage more frequently the proper use of piloting, because as I said, we often get ourselves jammed into a corner where we either break the rules and continue on down a sole source, and it's not fair and open, or we do something outside of a pilot and then it's not properly tested. Does that answer your question?
It's good enough. I also want to know, do we have enough tech professionals in the procurement process so they're doing a full assessment of our products that we're using?
We have some. I would say we don't in procurement necessarily have enough, but Melissa has professionals in her side of the team that do that sort of thing. And as we look to centralize procurement, we'll look for the right location for those people to reside.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, I want to jump to the data security because that's the easiest to answer. So having the data secured versus sharing a data that is being requested is two totally different things. Securing data has to do with someone accessing data unwanted, right? And so the question is our data secured, and are we defending our data from bad actors? The answer is yes, through our particular tools and the vendors that we allow in. We have a standard 65-question data security questionnaire. So we are managing and securing our infrastructure here within the city of Philadelphia. But the question that was asked was sharing the data. And as I don't have any authority as the CIO to just go share the data with anyone. That is a legal process. So I defer it, and I defer it again to legal. The second question is whether or not, let me see what I have here. Oh, you mentioned a franchise agreement, but I believe that the question goes in line with it's a grant that we wrote.
Right, and also with digital navigators.
So could you repeat the question on the digital navigators?
It came out of my head. It was basically, I know, my understanding was that the city was going to be hiring digital navigators, that we did get this franchise agreement, that we were going to get computers in rec centers. So two things, how is that going?
Yes.
And the second thing is, have we considered changing some job descriptions for library or rec center personnel to include some sort of tech basis so that we can have people who help people even more with the computers in our libraries and our rec centers?
Okay, so the 200 laptops was a grant. It wasn't part of the franchise agreement. The franchise agreement added 180, it added broadband service to 183 recreation centers, which is not, the laptops, right? Okay, so we have completed, there's 183 and we completed 160. So it's going well.
So you're saying we're going to have broadband access in rec centers, but no computers?
No.
I'm just.
So, wait,
let's,
no.
let's, I think we both have the same
You're
goal.
mixing apples with oranges. So you said the Verizon franchise agreement, which is just a document that was signed,
Yes.
right? Which allows for, and part of that agreement is for high-speed broadband services.
Yes.
Prior to me assuming the position as CIO, there were no laptops given out anywhere, right? So that's something that that I put in the budget for last year. We hired the digital navigators, but the navigators are there to provide the digital skills training classes, which we are actually executing now. So that's going well. So I just want to make sure we don't confuse the franchise agreement with the digital navigators, because that's an initiative that I established within OIT, which is separate from the franchise.
I am very proud of your initiative that you started with OIT. This is not about handing laptops to people. This is about, if we're going to have high-speed internet in a rec center, that we actually have some computers in the rec center so people can be able to use them, and then digital navigators there on the spot to help people use the computers.
Okay, so I'm not sure if you're aware that we're in a federated structure here at the city. Central OIT is not over Parks and Recs IT department. I'm not sure if you're aware. So if you have a question in regards to what IT is doing in the recreation centers, I don't have any authority over that. However, we still try to work together. So in our department, we wrote a grant and we gave out 200 laptops that are being deployed to the recreation center. And we also logged 479 adults and youth since that time. So we went out and we trained and we gave digital skills classes to those individuals. There's another grant that we wrote, the $2 million that you mentioned. And $1 million goes to Happy Hollow Recreation Center. It contributed to the HVAC, the computer lab, esports, and that's going to be completed the end of December of this year. Then the other $1 million went for...
Point of information. How much is going to Happy Hollow?
Happy Hollow.
How much?
$1 million that we wrote a grant for, and we worked with Parks and Rec for that, Happy Hollow. Well, it was two, Happy Hollow and Finnegan.
Oh, okay. And what's the other one? Finley?
Finnegan,
Finnegan?
yes.
Okay, I know about Finnegan, okay.
Yeah.
All right, please proceed. I don't want no smoke. Vice Chair of Parks and Recreation
Yes.
from the A4, it's okay, I was just trying to get clarity of information. Please resume.
So that million stands for their computer lab, is helping esports, and that will be done April 2026. Now, let's go back to these laptops. Because, we just gave out 2,000 laptops. So I'm kind of confused about the questioning whether we're going to give laptops or not. Are you specifically saying recreation centers? Because then my previous answer would answer that is that their IT, the way we're structured, they don't roll up to me in order for me to do that. But what we have done is wrote the grant for the 200 laptops, which have been distributed to 20 parks and recreation centers. And we also gave out 2,000.
I will
do
say
wanna
again,
answer-
I am very proud of you handing out 2,000 laptops.
Good.
I am not in any way talking about that.
Okay. The
I have
200
had a lot of people ask me, I won't. I think I got enough of my question answered, thank you.
Okay.
And I think that Director,
And then Candy wanted to answer the job description changing piece.
So globally, and thank you for the question. So globally, OHR is responsible for maintenance of the classification plan. So through our process, we do review all 1,000 civil service job descriptions on a pretty regular basis and presents changes through the Civil Service Commission. So last year, we did about 71 changes. Part of that, though, is to answer your question. We have established new pathways into IT-related roles from library assistant, right? So they go to, so I'm looking at my notes real quickly. So they can go to digital resource specialist and then promote to computer user support specialist. A lot of the IT-related roles, the non-IT engineering, don't require a 4-year degree, which is also a part of our goals. So they require certifications and things like that. So we're continuing to look at job titles where we can provide these additional pathways to IT and also other areas. We have not explored that on the Parks and Recreation side, but I have taken a note, and so we will work collaboratively with Parks and Recreation to identify if there is a potential pathway from assistant rec leader into some of these IT titles. And so we're happy to report back on that information once any progress is made.
thank you so much. Just want to add one last thing, that if there's any other departments that are not centrally overseen by OIT, that could be a risk. And I think that OIT should oversee all of IT in the city of Philadelphia. It's really important that we have one point of contact for that. Thank you.
Thank you. I do want to add just one additional point. That is new information for me. I did think you were over everybody, because even with the gentleman there, what's his name again, that worked with us? The IT guy. What's the IT guy name? Lonnie, the work that Lonnie does. You over top of Lonnie as well?
For Lonnie, for your services?
Yes, he's a contract provider, so you have nothing to do with that as well. So who runs all the city of Philadelphia's IT?
So we have a federated structure. So airports runs their own IT, library runs their own IT, Parks and Recs runs their own IT. So I would have to give you a complete list.
No, I understand now. So if Wi-Fi system goes down at the airport,
So we run all the networking.
Just let me
Yes, sorry.
finish, please.
Sorry.
Wi-Fi system goes down at Parks and Rec. Wi-Fi system goes down at Department of Human Services, right? Let's say our system crashes. Let's say, remember we got hacked last time? Y'all remember that happened?
Yes.
And they shut down our payroll system. Who's the person in the war room to make sure that never happens again?
So there's that question is multifaceted, but I'm going to answer the first part, which is the networking. We own the network for the city. So if the networking goes down, that is Central OIT's responsibility. But when we talk about the operational standpoint, as the councilwoman was mentioning, as far as who's going to get laptops, who's going to do some different operational things.
I'm not even on the laptop
Yeah, well,
conversation.
whoever does.
I'm on the
any-
operations side.
So there, but it's federated, which means that we own part of the responsibility, not the entire responsibility of it. And so the network, we do manage that.
So if Department of Human Services, right, let's says they have a data breach and there's an issue, who do they come to say, hey, Kim Ali, who's the DHS commissioner, who does she go to and say, we had a data breach, our system is down, our Wi-Fi doesn't work anymore, or we've been hacked? Who would they talk to make sure everything gets back on track?
So they normally call us, they reach out to us for additional assistance, but the true differentiation is who tells them what they should or shouldn't do prior to an incident, and we don't have any authority over that. So they do come to us for help because we're the larger group and we're the subject matter experts. However, when we could establish some operational structures in place prior to an incident, we're not included in those conversations. And so this is how it was already structured prior, to the Parker administration coming in.
Now
So
I
this is the
understand.
structure that we inherited.
It's the structure, okay.
Yes.
I just was under the impression that one person was over all things IT for the city of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And if it's the weak signal I get in my office sometime when I'm on Teams and it freezes.
Networking is us.
Networking is y'all.
And that's
Okay.
networking is us. But the example you just gave is you're talking about security, right? And so yes, they come to us for assistance in managing an issue, but not necessarily for assistance in implementing the defenses before an issue.
Gotcha. Okay. Point of information, remember Gilmore Richardson?
I'm not sure if they still do this or if we still do this, and this is just a question because I remember we did this previously. Is council technically on a different server? Are we technically on a different server still? Right?
I do believe
Lonnie?
so.
Yes, that's what I thought.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, okay. So, but meaning, even though we're on a separate server, does that still run up and through OIT?
No.
I mean, central OIT? Received, okay. Because I remember at one point, I don't remember how long ago this was now, but maybe this is 2026. Maybe it was 16 years ago, I don't remember, maybe it was 18 years ago now, that we transferred to a different server.
Okay.
But I thought we were still under central OIT, but they put us on a separate server. I don't remember how many years ago,
Okay.
someone has historical context. I was just asking if that's still the case.
Okay.
I don't know.
Is that still the case, Melissa?
So, you're on a different server,
Right, that's
right?
what I thought. Yeah, we're
And so, but we're all, so the networking, you all are on the same networking, and you're on a different email server. Is that, you're referring to your email?
Okay. Well, I guess.
So I need to
email
get
admin-
back to you as far as who's managing your servers, what you're
Got you.
asking.
That's the, yes,
Okay.
yes, okay. I remember that. I don't know if anybody has historical context.
Cool. I just wanted to get an idea who was running it all, but we good. We good.
Okay.
Yeah, we good. Councilmember Jim Harity.
Oh, good, okay.
Then Nina Mott, Young Bass, Richardson, then we're done, because they've been here for a while.
Beautiful. I'll be quick then. I know you've answered some questions about the employment access, but just a little more nuanced. How many senior level positions are currently vacant? For example, the labor director has been vacant for quite some while. I'm the labor chair, so, kind of. And if you could do that, I'll be good.
Of course. So great question. So currently, as far as, I'm going to take senior to mean high level, like exempt vacancies. And so labor director position continues to be vacant. We are working with a firm. We did briefly fill that position last year. That individual, unfortunately, was with us for a very short period of time and then resigned due to some other kind of family circumstances. So we are ongoing with that search. Currently, we have acting director, though, Cara Lahaney, who I'm sure you're familiar with, so she's serving in that capacity. We also recently had a departure of our airport CAO, Atif Said, so we are currently also working with a firm to fill that position. I'm sorry, wait, I had one more on my list. Oh, sorry, in the Commerce Director position. And so Karen Fagley is continuing to serve as the interim, but the process for filling that position permanently is ongoing, and I believe it is in the interview stage. So those are the three high-level vacant positions right now.
Not bad. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm good.
Thank you very much, sir. Dr. Nina Ahmed.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to go back to, and correct me if I'm wrong, digital navigators are OIT's purview?
Yes.
Okay. And you have 4 centers where they're, from what my note says, CMAC, Beyond Literacy, Drexel, Excite Center, and Esperanza. Do you have plans to invest in expanding digital network, navigator network beyond these 4 sites? And very importantly, want to understand the cultural competency of the digital navigators as they go into spaces that have different languages, different cultures being served. So I wanted to know how well your digital navigators are up to speed on that.
So yes, our digital navigators are up to speed. We hire individuals that speak different languages, specifically Spanish. We have someone speaking Spanish, and I'm not sure what other link, so I can get that back to you. But we have 4 digital navigators, 3 Vistas, and since we've hired them, we've been able to manage 461 tickets that came through 311. The previous model had the city funds going out to the organizations that you mentioned, Esperanza, Drexel, and they were doing all the management. Due to the climate and things happening, I wanted to prepare for, in case if we lost funding, we could still be able to provide services to our residents. So we brought that staff in-house. And what we noticed is that by bringing the staff in-house, we were able to actually service more residents. We were able to actually, we still provide funding to those partners, but now having those resources internally, we have expanded our reach. That's how we were able to get funding to give out laptops now, to do more digital skills training. And also what I talked to my team about is having an ongoing relationship with the residents that we are now servicing. It's one thing to just hand out a laptop, to just do a digital skills training. It's another thing to build a relationship with them and build on top of that. Because the idea that you could just take one digital skill class and become proficient in technology, that's not actually, it's very rare or unlikely that that would happen. So we want to build a relationship with the constituent, then we want to continue to build on their digital skills training, not just give them broadband service. It's the 3-pillar ecosystem, which is access to the internet, in addition to access to the devices, the laptops, now the digital skills training, but following them along the line and then getting the testimonies from them as how it has impacted them. And that takes time to do that. So we have these digital navigators in-house. We're then to be able to cultivate these relationships and ensure that we're making true impact and measure our impact.
Yeah, I'm really looking for this to go further,
Yes.
meaning for seniors, for the disability community. I'm just looking to see how we connect, not just geographically, but sort of population-wise, and what that plan might look like. So, but I think I understand that you're working on amplifying this, and the reason I ask is, do you need more money for that? So that's why I was asking.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Council President.
Thank you very much. I only want to add, I like how you talked about after you give them the laptops, like the digital education.
Yes.
And because I'm a dad of 2 boys, I'm real big on education around how our young people engage the video games and talking to people online and trafficking, and even how you use AI, right, in ways that how they shouldn't be using AI, but particularly the video games and talking to people on the other side. And so I think that would be a great part of your outreach.
Yes.
Well, these children have these laptops, like what's appropriate when you're using a laptop, and not when people, I think it's called phishing, something like that, fishtails.
Catfish.
Catfishing, basically creeps online trying to lure kids,
Yes.
you know, to do human trafficking and so forth. And so if somehow that could be, I know Councilwoman Dr. Nina Med is having a hearing on this as well. The chair
Sorry.
recognizes Councilmember Med.
Thank you. April 24th, we would love for you guys to come and testify. We'll be sending out information. But to his point, that is exactly part of the digital navigator information would be really relevant.
And Melissa, I would even go even further to ask you to think about how you partner with the district, right? Obviously,
Yes.
the district should have this mission on their own, right? But I think it go hand in hand, and maybe we take the lead and say, hey, this should be part of the education process. Not so much the inside of school in terms of the curriculum,
Yes.
but the actual education of the students around it. Like they should, I don't know if public schools have like forums where people come in and do presentations around human trafficking vis-a-vis social media,
Yes.
right? But that type of education, I think, would be great. So
Okay.
I think you talked about something that's great beyond the fact of giving somebody a computer. So Councilmember Bass, Young, and then we're going to wrap up with Majority Leader Richardson and go into the next presentation.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I just wanted to say for the record, since we were talking about Happy Hollow earlier, that we have $8.6 million going into the first phase for anybody who's listening from Germantown. Also, phase 2 is, well, actually, phase 1 will be completed this year, the $8.6 million. And then we'll move on to phase 2, which is another $5 million project. So I know that everybody was interested.
And I would surely support more.
What's that?
And I would surely support more.
Oh, all right now. Say no more. We'll talk after. Thank you.
I thought I saw an objection from somebody who just got additional $10 million for a state-of-the-art, you know, golf. I guess, what do you call it, golf? You know, when you go golfing?
Yeah,
No, he got the whole line. He got a simulator. He got a new golf field.
Nice. Okay.
Virtual. I think it's called the Tiger Woods Golf. I think it's called the Tiger Woods Golf Course. But appreciate my members.
Right.
Member Bass?
So I did want to ask us a little bit more. Can you give us a little bit more detail about the laptop giveaway on Saturday? I heard it was phenomenal. I heard the lines were like wrapped around the block, and we gave out 2,000 laptops.
1,600.
Oh, 1,600. Okay. And can you talk about, because obviously everybody who was there didn't get a laptop, right? So can you talk a little bit about how do we work, you know, as a body, as a city, to close the digital divide? We've been talking about it forever. Like, is there a plan? Is there a vision for it? Like, and what does that look like? Just if you could just throw something out
Sure.
around those.
So as I mentioned before, so first we have, it's the 3 pillars. First we have, we were so fortunate to have the Verizon franchise agreement because it really provides the broadband service that we need, high-speed broadband service throughout the entire city. But through that, if just the service being able to access broadband is not enough, right? So we had the laptop giveaway. And the first part of the laptop giveaway started with each council member, where we reached out to them to distribute 50 laptops to each one of their, for their constituents. And what we asked was for them to partner with a local community organization that they knew would be able to find the residents, and we had, we distributed that way. Within that portion also, as I mentioned, is that the digital skills training is also important as well. So when they receive their laptops, we provide them with everything they need on how to set up their laptop like a Geek Squad, and taking them through the entire process, and then setting them up with classes to follow. So Saturday's event consisted of the same formula where we had 1,100 individuals pre-registered through community organizations for 1,100 laptops. It was, we noticed that there was a stronger need, so we added an additional 500 on for community, for residents, other residents who were interested. And it was a very wonderful event, but what it showed you is that there is a dying need for individuals to receive laptops. We had a veteran that was there who mentioned that this was his first laptop that he received in his entire life. And other individuals who cannot do city business, cannot navigate through things like telehealth, job, employment. So we are making, as you can see, a stronger effort to try to close the digital divide, partnering with not only the community organizations, but also with council members to reach as many residents as we possibly can. And we'll continue to expand, we'll continue to partner with you. We're always open to more ideas, and so when we reach out to you for your particular Power Up tour, it's always the opportunity then to tell us, some ideas on what you want to do if you want to expand your personal Power Up tour, because the Power Up tour is specifically for the council member and for your residents.
Thank you. And thank you for the information on that. And I think I want to go back to my earlier point, which was that at just in terms of efficiencies, because there is just so much, the need is enormous. And it feels like we really haven't moved the needle, not anybody's fault, certainly not on this panel. But for a long time, we've been talking about closing the digital divide. I mean, listen, we got Comcast, like headquartered here in the city of Philadelphia. And the amount of need that was out on display is a bit shocking that we are still here. And when I talked earlier about efficiencies and, trash and whatnot, the idea is to save money so that we can invest it back into people who really need, laptops, access to internet, the digital literacy training, as you talked about. We need all of that just on an exponential level, because we're just not getting there. And I would hope that, that there could be some thought as like the same way we're talking about, building and rehabbing 30,000 homes, that we would make it a statement that we are going to make sure that, half of Philadelphia, all of Philadelphia, in the next 3-5 years, whatever, has access in their homes, not just in a library or whatever, but that they have the digital tools that they need to really be able to compete in today's world and economy, and just be able to be there. So I think we can do that. I think that's something that's definitely doable, especially if we are able to save money in other areas. We can invest in our people. So just a thought.
Yes, and I really hope that we continue. So again, to remind us of how far we've come, we went from 0 to 2,000. So that shows that the effort is there. Our partnerships with council members are there. The mayor is fully supported in closing the digital divide. So the only way from here is to continue to go up.
Can you just give us an idea of I'm sorry, Mr. President, real quick. What is the universe of people that you would estimate that need these, devices or access to devices? Do you have an idea of what that number is?
I don't have the numbers on hand in front of me, but I can get that back to you.
That would be great. So we could just have an idea of what the universe looks like.
Yep.
Is it 5,000 people? Is it, 500,000 people? Is it somewhere in between? Just to give us an idea of what we're working with.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome, Councilman Jeffrey J. Young.
Thank you, Mr. President. This first question I have is for HR. Are there executive branch employees that receive COLAs every year? Or not every year, but as the cost increases?
So the elected offices?
No, executive branch, just in people in,
No, so the exempt, so similar to civil service, the exempt increase process, OHR works very closely with the administration, with the finance department in determining what that increase looks like based on a variety of factors. So it's not the same COLA that's applied to the elected offices. The process is different.
all right, so but that's for exempt employees, correct?
Correct.
What
Both-
about
at all levels, both executive level and, your.
So represented employees do not receive this same type of, I guess, increase, this living increase?
So represented employees get their contract increase that they're bargained for, and so they do receive annual increases.
Is it is it the same percentage as those who are exempt?
It's a comparable percentage, so we also take that into consideration when we're discussing what the exempt increase process looks like as well. So each union negotiates a different percentage. Sometimes it is the same, but the exempt increase is similar, very comparable to that percentage typically.
Thank you. The next question, similar questions for CAO and CIO. The Chief Administrative Office is adding 28 positions, while 81 of 106 positions in FY26 were filled, and now you're asking for us to approve 134 positions. Can you tell us what is your month-by-month hiring plan that makes the FY27 6.7% vacancy allowance credible?
Sure. So of the 28 positions that we've asked to be, there are 21 positions that we've asked to be added to the CAO complement. Those are specifically for the CCME fellow. We have as I stated earlier, we've graduated 47. We have additional completers and participants in the pipeline, and so we want to make sure that there's space available for those folks who do not transition directly into civil service positions. And so we do not believe that there will be any challenge really with us being able to fill the CCME fellow positions. We very quickly were able to stand up the first 5 that are supporting the vendor cooperative. We've faced a few challenges relative to some of the vacancies that have remained open. As you know, CCME is it's an all-encompassing strategy that we're trying to employ, and we struggled because we lost our human resource manager earlier in calendar year 25. And so that posed a little bit of a challenge for us in terms of filling those positions. And so while we lost that support, we were working diligently to continue to do the work of CCME while trying to fill those positions. So that accounted for some of the gap between the positions being available and not being filled. We are very close to filling those positions. By the end of this quarter, we believe all of our CCME positions will be filled. We had a bit of turnover within our Office of Administrative Review. We turned over, some of it was voluntary, some of it not voluntary, and so we're working through that. We do have HR support right now, and we're working through filling those positions within the Office of Administrative Review.
Thank you, Mr. President. There's one more question along the same lines for OIT. In your budget, you're requesting 639 positions, up from 35 from FY26, while only 500 were filled as of November. So why should council approve these additional positions when you're already more than 100 positions below the budget and strength? And can you tell us what your hiring plan is?
Sure. So our vacancies actually represent unmet capacity, not unused capacity. And what that means is the work is currently being executed by fewer people than required. So the teams are operating at a degraded stretch state, and it causes critical function issues and faces the delay. So the backfills, what that helps is it maintains operations, restore previous capacity, but the new positions are for acceleration in demand demand. When you think about AI, security mandates, our infrastructure, digital service expansion, and 2026 FIFA World Cup, we can't do that with just the backfills. So I do realize that the vacancies are an issue, so we've been working very diligently. Last year through the budget, we said that we were going to hire a recruiter. We did, and she's phenomenal. But we have a 5-layer workforce system approach. First is that we started baseline training for all of our employees to create a common operating system to reduce the ramp-up time when they're coming in and to ensure that the employees know and understand what it is that they should be doing. Then we added an upskilling program to cultivate internal capabilities for the modern needs, so that's expanding their knowledge beyond what they know now.
I get that. That's all internal, but I'm saying, like, for the hires, like the folks that we need to hire, I understand that the current employees are doing more than they should. I get that, but what confidence do we have to say that you're going to be able to fill those positions when you haven't done so, when you know your employees are already doing more work than they should?
We're tracking on that. So we had 662 interviews conducted since between June and February, June of last year to February of this year. We had 500. Between February and March alone, we had 162 interviews. Then we hired a total hires of 38. So we have increased our productivity in just getting through the hiring, getting through the interviews, which was the most of the challenge, going through the resumes, identifying the qualified candidates, so our recruiter is helping us with that, and we're tracking up now, and we've shown improvement since
So out of 600 applicants, 600 interviews,
62 interviews.
Only 38 people were hired from that
Yes,
number?
sir. Yes, sir. It's a tough business.
Yeah, okay. So then for me, if you're only hiring 38 people in a year, then you're asking us to do an additional increase of 100, to me that says that you're not going to be able to meet that number when you're only hiring 38 people in a year.
Well, we're getting better, right? So imagine the individual that just came into the city, learning how it is, our process. She's been tracking up, so that's why you see a huge turn in February. Between February and March, we were able to do 162 of those interviews, and 11 hires have been made between January and February. So she has now gotten the swing of things, so we're tracking up we're going upward than where we were before. So we do see that we will be able to complete that task at hand.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. That's all we have for today. We thank you for your presentation. Thank you for providing us information regarding your department. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next we have up is, let me do it the right way. Ms. Lawhead, could you please call up the next panel, please?
We have Joe Braisky, Commissioner of Public Property, and Joseph Rosati, Commissioner for Fleet Services.
Good afternoon. Hello, how you doing?
Good afternoon, Council President.
Good afternoon. Just state your name for the record and please begin your testimony.
First. Joseph Braisky, Department of Public Property, Commissioner. Good afternoon, Council President.
Joe, can I get your South Philly voice? Come on. The microphone over there.
Is this better?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Council President Johnson and members of City Council. I'm Joe Brasky, Commissioner of Public Property. It is a pleasure to appear before City Council today in support of Public Property's FY27 budget request. I would like to thank President Johnson and members of Council for their support that you provide throughout the year, being that voice for the communities that we provide services for. So I thank you. As you have our written testimony, which highlights the many accomplishments and plans of the department, I would only like to add one thing, and that is the written testimony. And it is about my team. The Department of Public Property has many outstanding employees that tend to fly under the radar, and I would like to acknowledge them publicly for their commitment to public service. I am very proud to be a part of the team that shows so much care and commitment to their professions while continuing to support our mission of responsibly serving our city's workforce and community by providing quality facilities and workspaces, of which we are proud of. In closing, I would like to acknowledge Kitty Lowe. She's our budget officer that passed away a couple weeks ago, and this was pretty much her time of year, and she's sorely missed. And I just wanted she was a long-serving member of our department for 19 years, so I just wanted to acknowledge her in my testimony. Thank you for having me today. I will be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. Mr. Rosati, please state your name for the record, and please begin your testimony.
Joseph Rosati, Commissioner for the Department of Fleet Services. Good afternoon, Council President Johnson and distinguished members of City Council. I am Joseph Rosati, Commissioner for the Department of Fleet Services. Joining me today are Dr. Kay Wilson, Deputy Commissioner for Administration, and John DeLeo, Deputy Commissioner for Operations. Thank you for the opportunity to provide testimony on the Department of Fleet Services fiscal year 2027 operating budget. The Department of Fleet Services FY27 General Fund budget request is $76.16 million. The Department of Fleet Services has 355 dedicated employees who work diligently to provide safe and reliable vehicles and equipment to the operating departments to work toward the mayor's goal of making Philadelphia the safest, cleanest, greenest big city in the nation with access to economic opportunity for all. You have my detailed written testimony, and I would be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a brief question. Well, one, thank you, Joe Bransky, and thank you, Commissioner Rosati, for just always being responsive to my calls. Just want to put that on the record. Anytime I call to address a variety of different issues, on a weekend, in the evening, you respond. So I want to personally just say thank you. And thank you, Mr. Rosati, for being accommodating to addressing a variety of different issues that I called you about. So I just want to state that for the record. My question is not even really that high level. Joe, I want to get an idea of, in this budget, are we investing in more like showmobiles? Can we upgrade our stages? Like, I did an event the other day, we still got to like piece stuff together type of, so could we like part of this budget that members of council, especially as district members, would like to support, and so we're not competing for the same showmobile. It's up in the 4th one day, it's up in the 5th, we both trying to get it at the same time, and then could we take our stages to the next level? So when we had the Oregon's Jazz Festival, or North Philly Day, it's no more Strawberry Mansion Day. Well, if y'all listening, it is what it is. I'm rocking out with Team Young. North Philly Day, right? And I just want to get an idea. It's like a small ask that will make our lives a little easier. And I'll say this, it may seem minute, right? But like we're celebrating the 250th anniversary of our country, right? Yep. And yes, people are gonna go down the Parkway and have a good time. They're gonna go down Old City. But also I know the agenda is to go throughout neighborhoods. And if we're going out neighborhoods having all these events and we're asking people to put on events, and as we also support our constituents, we would like to have a high quality event with the best type of infrastructure that folks can enjoy. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Totally understand, and thank you for bringing that up. We did order showmobiles last year, so they are being delivered soon. We're looking for training and how to operate them. So we will hopefully have them for the 2026 events. We've added stages to our special events crew. We also added more barriers and barricades for our special events coming up. So we're kind of out ahead of it. And we're kind of showing off our vehicle barriers that we bought and purchased. That's going to be helpful during the block parties and how either OEM or the police want to manage them. I think it's going to help I think Center City District kind of has some for their blocking events that they do with their open streets, I think it is. So we had used them for our marathons just to try to get a test fit of them. So we are actively preparing. We've been preparing for 2026 events.
How many showmobiles are we going to buy?
I think
for the record.
There's two. They're trucks.
Just two more?
There's two. Yeah, we have two coming.
And how many do we have already in stock?
I don't have none in my portfolio, but
that would be under Parks and Rec.
Parks and Recs has certain showmobiles too. So we're trying to help them, trying to work together. Put it that way.
Okay, no, that's good.
Yeah.
And then also tell me about the stages, right? What does that look like in terms of upgrading the quality of the stages that we actually have as a city for not only 2026 but then beyond?
Sure. No, and that's what we've been looking to do. I mean, I'm going back 19 years ago, and I saw how the shape of our stages were in plywood. But now, also for our labor workforce, we're trying to make it easier with smart stages. So it's a little bit easier to put together, maneuver, a little bit lighter. I'm not going to say it's light, but a little bit lighter. But we have purchased newer staging. So we are moving along to try to get...
How many new stages are we going to have?
I would have to check that number. I know we've been ordering pieces and
Could you please get back to Mr. Chairman with the type of stages, how many stages that we're going to purchase? It may seem small, but for us that do the work in the neighborhoods, very, very critical part of what we do.
And I understand we're going to be up against it, 2026, we're putting stages out all over. And then we always have the opportunity that we can rent some stages, to fill in for our demand. And, it'll be a newer stage also. So we're moving in the right direction.
Thank you. Commissioner Rosati, you're requesting $32 million in new borrowing this year for the capital budget, specifically for the purchase of fire and streets vehicles. This amount is approximately double the FY21 to FY26 average annual issuance of tax-supported general obligation bonds. Can you give me an idea of why we're increasing that particular amount for the purchase of those vehicles?
There hasn't been actual increase. It's just that the funding this sanitation was helping me fund the replacement of their vehicles. And I had to add that to my budget this year.
Okay. And give me an idea regarding the planned vehicle purchases that we're going to buy for this year. What does that fleet look like?
So for the capital funding that you're speaking of, there's 15 medics, four pumpers, 2 ladders, and 30 trash compactors.
Good. And then where are we in terms of, and I know Dr. Med is going to talk about this as well because it's something we both have an interest in, but talk about EV in terms of our fleet, right? And I guess having more cars that's focused on electric vehicles as well as our EV stations across the city of Philadelphia as well.
So we're doing pretty good with that. Currently, I believe that we have, let's see here. We have our alternative fuel vehicles, our total as of today is 1,695 vehicles. So we have hybrid electric vehicles, most of which are police cars. There's 1,084 of those. You got your compressed natural gas trash compactors, there's 42. And battery electric vehicles, that's fully electric vehicle, that's 569. Now our goal is to get to 1,000 by 2032 and to build out our infrastructure. Currently we have 2 municipal fast charging stations that are exclusively used by fueling for city vehicles. And we have a vendor that's on contract called EVgo that helps with the fast charging. And we have about 126 level 2 slow chargers within the city's environment as well.
Thank you very much. Chair recognizes Councilmember Jones, then Councilmember Dr. Anthony Phillips, then Councilmember Dr. Nina Ahmed.
Thank you, Mr. President. I asked this question earlier, and so I'll repeat it now. There is a description, a term that is used, but that when the building that is owned by the City of Philadelphia has a maintenance that exceeds our ability to fix. And what was that term called? You weren't there.
Where we contract out services?
No, so if we own fire stations, police stations, libraries, there is a maintenance that is assessed to what is needed for that building. And according to previous testimony, that there is a gap between what we own and what we need to fix. Are you familiar with that?
No, I'm not too much, council member. But I know what we have as far as, the maintenance that we perform throughout the fire stations and police stations.
So let me ask the question then. If we own all of these properties, what do you have an aggregate maintenance fee or price in mind?
Yeah, I'd have to look into that number that we have for maintenance, because there's certain facilities and properties that are maintained differently.
Yeah, so do you know, if we own a library and it needs a HVAC system and the police need new pumps, how much is that number currently?
Well, as far as libraries, we're just police stations and fire stations. City-owned buildings would be, libraries and all would be, their maintenance is performed by the library. So they have their own budget number, and also, other, the same as Parks and Rec.
So it's not in one spot?
It's not all one number.
Okay.
It's different departments that have different maintenance projections and what they have to maintain as far as a city building.
So I guess what I'm getting to, my second part of the question is, we have a 10-year backlog in capital projects, right?
I'm not aware of that, but okay.
Am I right?
I'm not sure.
So somebody better know something. I mean, we have a 10-year backlog in capital projects.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that somehow that gets fixed, and instead of the 200 steps it takes to get something built or renovated, that we shrink that down and expeditiously do that. Because by the time we fix something, it's antiquated and broke again. So we need to work on that and get a handle on what that is. And if we're borrowing for things, shouldn't we be borrowing for, we do borrow for the capital projects, how come we can't implement quicker?
Council member, I think as far as capital goes, it's no longer part of the Department of Public Property. They have since separated, so they have their own budget and their own timelines on projects. We became a client of CPO, so we go to the CPO and they run their own timelines and project timelines.
All right, I'll take that. I'll swing back when they come up.
Sure.
My question to you then is, what percentage of city departments are not in city-owned buildings and actually lease out or rent space from private building owners?
There's numerous departments that are in lease spaces. I would have to get that number for you and break it down.
You got to have some question answered to help me. So you don't know right now?
Off the top of my head, no.
Then find somebody that knows, because it does not make sense that you don't know right now that, how much we're paying in rent. Because if we're talking about efficiencies, I remember, and the reason I'm adamant about this is that I remember when I was a quasi-governmental head of PCDC. They told me I had to rent from a person, that you got to go over here. You can't.
So, Member Jones, I have a question. So,
Yeah.
When you're asking, are you asking specifically what the executive branch is renting? Because when I think about
No, all
row
departments.
offices and things like that, so are you asking for everybody or just the executive branch?
So all departments. you are either in a city-owned facility or you're renting from somebody.
Sure.
So I need to know what that amount is and whether or not we have taken a deeper dive to cost compare.
Sure.
With the glut of vacant properties out now, it's a buyer's market, right?
Sure, 100%.
So we should be putting them against each other, competing. He told me for $100 a square foot, I can get this. You said 75, I'm going with you.
I got you.
So we should be able to have savings over time with those kinds of negotiations. So I'm gonna need you, I don't wanna call people back, Mr. Chair, but I'm gonna need those numbers to be provided to the chair so that I have a degree of comfort as to, in today's real estate market, particularly downtown, who we renting from and whether that's the best value for the lease.
I will get you that information, and I'll get a breakdown of what departments are in which building in what area of the city, a total breakdown, and we'll send it over to the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Hey, thank you, Councilmember Jones. This is a great line of questioning. Just, do you know the executive branch's numbers? Like, so do we know specifically with the admin, like your departments that you all are responsible for, where you rent space and how much you pay? Because I know it's hard to keep up with like the sheriff, the controller, right? But what about just the admin? Do you know that?
It's various buildings. It varies from
various, like
there's probably
2 dozen?
3 or 4 departments from the administration.
So are we looking at a couple dozen buildings or a handful?
More than that.
Oh, no, there's more than that as far as leased buildings, not just for the administration, but just
You
altogether.
piqued my interest, Councilmember
Yeah.
Jones. Thank you, sir. Chair recognizes Councilmember Dr. Phillips? Dr. Phillips.
Thank you, Councilman Thomas. Thank you, Chair. I do want to thank you, Commissioner, for your work with our district in organizing events and programs. I do want to say that my question is along the lines of Councilmember Jones. So ironically, we were on the same page around a couple of things. I do think it's very important, I will suggest so on the record, that I do think it's very important for you to know the numbers of leases and so forth that the city has.
Sure.
I think that even as one of your team members should be helping you in that capacity, but I think that's really important. Here's why. Has the Department of Public Property completed any level of a strategic plan around the following? How do we improve facilities that we have, including this building, right, City Hall, right, what it would cost? Is there a strategy on doing a total revamp of this building, and how can we get there? Because this is a people-centered building, and at some point we do need to modernize it. The second thing is that we have a lot of city departments that are in other buildings that are being leased. Are we ever going to be at a point where we just think strategically and say, what is the cost analysis of buying an entire building to house all these city departments so we can just stop spending money on leases all the time? I think that strategic strategy should be discussed often, during these budget hearings, and we're just not hearing that. So I just wanted to kind of get a sense of those.
No, I appreciate the comment, and that's where, just from when I took over the department, we didn't have no deputy of real estate. So we've been, there was an influx, and we kind of, leased some buildings, but now I did onboard a deputy of real estate just recently to get that program going, to build out all that answer, strategic planning of buildings. What do we have? What can we cut back on? So that's all in our plan moving forward. Just from the 2 years I've been here, I know we leased some different properties for not only just for swing space for when we're doing construction to move different people out, but that's part of our plan moving forward. Now that we have a deputy in place to organize and, do that planning for the buildings of space planning and, to make us move forward and have a good idea of what we have and then where we could save.
Councilmember Dr. Phillips, I apologize. We're going to pause your time. Councilmember Young, point of information.
Thank you. It's along the same lines as Dr. Phillips' question regarding purchasing of buildings. You think about the real estate market now here in Center City. We got a building across the street that sold for like $90 million. right? And I think that if we were making that investment as a city, try to get a return on our investment, that's a perfect location to house other city departments and agencies that's literally right across the street within a block radius of the rest of the municipal services. So I just think that's something that we should, take into consideration as we look at how the market is in Center City right now.
Totally agree, and that's what we're going to move forward, we're going to work on, and we're going to evaluate that and see how we can. I needed to onboard a person to help us get to that point, and we just lost another real estate person, so no excuses, but that's our plan moving forward, gaining our assets, making sure where we can save, and what, if we can talk about looking at buildings, sure, 100%. I totally get that savings, that's a total savings that we can have, so we have to revisit that.
Sure, thank you. Well, we don't have to revisit it. I'll pass it back to Dr. Phillips, but the council president tech staff, in the midst of answering other questions, said that we spend about $40 million a year on rental space, and it looks to be up to $63 million a year over the next 5 years. So that was to answer Councilmember Jones's question, and maybe you can get somebody on your team to confirm or deny whether or not that's true. Because that was the information that we collected here. Dr. Phillips, I just want to return you to your time. Sorry, sir.
No, thank you. I think this council is getting really, really, this is like my third year in. My first year, I was sitting here trying to figure everything out. Second year, I got a little hang of it. I understand how this works better now. So I'm actually now at a point where I can ask these questions and be like, this doesn't make sense. Right, that's why I feel like I like everyone in this department. I think you all do a great job. The only thing that I think that my question I'm raising is you all are great at being reactive to what's needed to get done. Right, I think the proactive part needs to be done better with this department. We're thinking strategically about how do we save money in the city of Philadelphia and also be more strategic. So even with some of these vacancies that I noticed, which was one of my next questions, is what are we doing how are these vacancies? We have 140 budgeted positions, 116 of those positions have been filled, meaning that, and then also the vacancy rates have been as high as 35% in previous years. How are these vacancies currently impacting response times for maintenance issues that affect public access to city services? And also, what are we doing to address the vacancies?
Sure. Mostly our vacancies are in trades, plumbers, electricians, industrial electricians, or our tradespeople. So we've been recruiting, we've been working with the school district to hire on and, bring them in as apprentices, and we work with them to bring them along, to bring them into the trades. We've been doing better lately as far as hiring plumbers and electricians, so I think we are making progress on bringing in trades, skilled trades that is. And it's been tough to onboard them. We've been trying for years to bring in skilled trades. If construction's good on the outside, them jobs they're gonna take them. And then, so we've been working with the young kids, trying to groom them in to bring them along, and we had success. So we're doing good in that part of bringing people in. And so we're trying to recruit and get the word out, and we're working with OHR also.
And just my final comment and question, I just want to continue to challenge you, Commissioner, who I think you're respected, you do a great job, but I want to continue to challenge, maybe you can get people around you in real estate to really think about that question that I brought up along with Councilmember Young and was discussed by our tech team with Councilmember Thomas, is just the idea of we can save a lot of funds in the city of Philadelphia if we have a strategy to actually buy one of these buildings. I feel like we're not being smart with our taxpayer dollars in that regard. So I'm looking forward to hearing a timeline from you on when can you have a strategic plan to address that. And I believe that your upper heads of work with you to kind of do that. And I think that's really, really incredibly important. And then for the Commissioner of Fleet Services, I just had one question. The department continues to expand its electric vehicle fleet and charging infrastructure as part of the Clean Fleet Plan. How is the transition to electrical vehicles impacting day-to-day fleet operations? Are we going to be working on increasing the number of electric vehicles in fleet. And then also, I see that you have a workforce development program that you've been, is that what you have one? Can you just give me a review on how well that's coming along?
So the electric vehicle implementation, we're trying to, so the electric vehicle implementation, we're trying to systematically replace ICE vehicles, non-emergency vehicles with fully electric vehicles. It's too early to tell, the maintenance, there's always been this thing about maintenance, will the electric vehicle be cheaper to maintain? You still need to be state inspected, still have to replace a broken windshield, a flat tire, brakes, the whole bit. So there's still maintenance to be done to these vehicles. You're saving on an oil change. We're saving a lot of money in fuel. We've decreased the amount of fuel gallons pumped since 2004 till 2025. We decreased the amount, 2 million gallons less. We were pumping like 7.5 million gallons in 2004. We're pumping 5.5 million gallons now. So we've really decreased the amount of fuel we're using. So we're really proud of that part.
By what year will we be fully electric?
Right now, we have a goal of doing 1,000 vehicles. When we reach that goal, we're going to pause, we're going to look at everything and try and move forward. Emergency vehicles and heavy equipment are a challenge. I'm not ready to fully go all out and replace emergency vehicles like police vehicles with fully electric vehicles just yet. So right now we're doing non-emergency vehicles, and I have plenty of those to replace out to get to the goal of 1,000. Once we get there, we will we'll reassess and set a new goal.
Okay, and the workforce development program?
Yeah, so we have a high school intern program, and we're partnered with the CCME. The high school intern program is.
I'm sorry, sir. You're partnering with who?
For the record. The CCME Community College.
Thank you, sir. That's all I'm saying.
So the high school intern program, currently we have 61 interns working for us. It's a 2-year program. Each student, I believe, has to do 390 hours of on-the-job training with us in the repair facilities. Once they graduate, they're guaranteed an automotive apprentice position, and that's a civil service job. We've had a lot of success with that program. We started it in 1993. We've had 237 graduates. There's I'd say about 50 full-time employees from that program. A lot of them are managers. I think we have 5 team leaders, 7 team leaders, 2 shop supervisors, and 1 fleet maintenance manager. One of the managers is here today. His journey was amazing. He's been here for 30 years. Rashid Kirkland. Hey, Rashid, could you stand up? He's been here for 30 years. He came to work for me back in 1996 when he was 16 years old. He's been here 30 years. And he's in charge of 1/3 of my fleet. So he's managing over 2,500 vehicles.
That's excellent.
So, that's and he's a mentor to the high school interns that are working for us right now. He looks out for them, he mentors them, and obviously he's a good example.
I only asked that question because I recognize that there was, congrats Rashid, that's awesome. I recognize there's 403 budgeted positions and there's 50 vacancies, right? I'm at a point now where I believe that we should be really pretty much 90%, with all these vacancies. So what's causing that as well?
So trades jobs, just like Joe, Commissioner Brodsky mentioned, full service technicians, they're hard to come by, so we're trying to recruit them as well as grow our full service technicians through the high school intern program, The trades, it's difficult to get tradesmen in to come work for the municipal environment.
Yeah, I just feel like, well, we'll talk with labor, but I mean, I definitely like we just all need to work together. I agree. I know it's difficult. I can tell from the qualifications, but I don't know. I just wish, I almost want to have a dedicated person on our staff here in council just to help with vacancies, but to see if we can help out too. All right, thank you so much, Chair.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Council Member Dr. Ahmad.
Thank you, Chair. Question for Fleet. First of all, great to hear.
I'm sorry, Doc. I apologize so much. Councilmember Harity had a point of information around Dr. Phillips, and then after that, I will come to you, Dr. Ahmad. I apologize. Councilmember Harity.
Real quick, just
Mike.
because I get it, the trades thing. So for both of you, what is the salary of a full mechanic or whatever the grade is, whatever, and also like the plumber and electrician? What's the salary here? Because we outside, like, so what would a mechanic make outside working for the city? Because a lot of them, they're up, right?
It fluctuates because if you're working at a dealership, you work a thing called flat rate.
Right.
So you could actually, if you're a hustler, you could actually control your own destiny and make six figures. You know, if you're just going to put in your 8 hours, then you might make 50 or 60,000 a year. You know, I believe that we're at 45,000 a year to start for a technician.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So that's, Councilman Phillips, that's what I was getting at. The
so
salaries we need to raise, and then maybe we could fill some of these trades positions because they're not close to what they're making out on the street. You know what I'm saying? Electrician, my son's a union electrician. My son's a union electrician. He makes about $120,000 a year. You know what I mean? 40 hours a week. They make good money. And I know some of these mechanics with the certifications, they make some big, like especially the big engine cat, you know, diesel and all that. And also, you know what I'm saying? So
Thank you, Member Harity. I understand what you're saying.
Salaries.
Yeah, we want to put that on the record. Dr. Ahmad, we'll let you start your time over. Chair recognizes Dr. Ahmad. Sorry about that, Doc.
Thank you. No problem. It's good to hear this and good to see so much progress. I had a question, two-part question. One was actually about the interns. I saw that you had I heard a different number. I have a different number, 34 high school interns in FY25, but you're down to asking for 15 in FY27. I don't know if that's correct. I think it's on budget detail 30, page 30. And the reason cited for the going down in the number was for hiring more experienced technicians. So where are you finding these experienced technicians, and how will that impact the pipeline of the program for this workforce development?
So normally, prior to taking over Fleet, we would bring in about 6 to 10 kids per year. I bumped it up to like 36, and then another 34, and so now we have to have a balance. You know, right now I have 61 kids in my shops, and you know we want to have a balance of experienced technicians to help train them. So you know we have to have that. We can't be overrun with them. You know, so.
So I wanted to ask, where are you finding your experienced technicians? Because I think that's one of our issues that we're having is we don't have enough of them. So where are you getting them, and how are you keeping them?
We go to job fairs, and HR helps us with that as well. We normally have a running list that we do interviews and hire people and onboard them, but we're also losing, experienced, full service technicians to retirement, and some of them even leave to get signing bonuses at other places.
Yeah, thank you. So I understand you're saying the capacity to manage your high school interns is what you're addressing by increasing that. I understand. It would be good, that is one of our anti-violence programs, is having our high school students getting apprenticeships. And if we could up the number of sort of journeyman kind of people in this space, we would do better. So I would highly recommend we continue that. Just segueing into the electric vehicles. I'm so glad to hear how much you've invested in that. However, I know most of your chargers are level 2, or they take forever. And I heard that you had 2 fast chargers located, new installation of, maybe there are 2 or 1 new fast charging station for EVs. Where are they located, and how are the locations selected?
We're strategically going to have fast charging stations throughout all 4 corners of the city, so that wherever you are in the city, you'll be able to get a charge.
And those are just for the city cars?
They're strictly for municipal fleet vehicles.
Purposes.
So we have one at 26 and Master that has 4 plugs, and that can charge a vehicle within 20 to 30 minutes. And then we have another one at 6930 Norwich Drive in Southwest Philly. And then we're in the process of installing one at 11th and Reed.
There we go.
And then that's going to be a 4-plug. And then at Front and Hunting Park, that's going to be an 8-plug.
So 8-plug. So we'll have additional 4 new chargers. So you're replacing all of the level 2s hopefully soon.
Yeah, so State and Ashburner will get one. Domino and Umbria will get one. So we're trying to build out the infrastructure so that wherever you are in the city, you'll be able to get a charge.
And I know you mentioned heavy machineries, heavy equipment is hard to do. Are we still working, because the NEVI funds were restored by the federal government, which previously they had cut. Are we looking into how we do our flat charging for larger vehicles? Are we investing in that at all from your perspective in the city? Because that would help a lot in terms of how we do the charging.
We don't have any heavy equipment that is fully electric. I haven't gone there yet. I'm waiting for the technology to get better. They're saying that the battery technology could get better, and they could do it with smaller batteries and longer range. So when that comes to fruition, we can look at the heavy equipment. But right now, I have plenty of ICE vehicles to replace that are passenger and light truck.
Yeah. Well, listen, thank you so much. If we can assist you in making sure we are a fully electrified city in terms of at least our fleet, happy to help you get there. So thank you for the good work. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Dot. I just want to put on the record, because I misspoke earlier. When Councilmember Jones and other members asked about the amount of revenue that we anticipate spending on leases, I said that the number was $40 million in this year's proposed budget and then $63 million in 5 years. That's not correct. It's $40 million in this year's budget and $63 million in 2 years. So if before this panel is done, you can confirm that, we definitely appreciate it. Chair recognizes Councilmember Gaudier.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon to both of you. Thank you so much to you and your teams for the work that you do on behalf of the city every day. My questions are for Commissioner Brasky. Commissioner, I see that you hope to grow the real estate and planning division of public property in FY27 from 7 staff to 12 staff. And my first question is, how many of those staff will be dedicated to managing the disposition of city vacant land? And I'm asking this question because even though we greatly appreciate working with you, we do find that pretty much all requests regarding vacant land reuse takes longer if that land is owned by public property. And it doesn't seem to matter whether it's a community group trying to get a lease agreement to garden on a property or a developer trying to build affordable home ownership, requests to get help with paperwork, work on leases, to find out if there are any active use agreements on a property, or even getting deeds transferred after council has approved a disposition. If public property is involved, it takes a lot longer to get answers and to move things forward. And this is even more important to consider at this moment, because all of these scenarios are going to come up if we are trying to get more vacant land out of the door every year to meet the goals of the home plan. Though the land bank gets much of the attention when it comes to getting public vacant lands out of the door, most of the land that's publicly controlled by the city is still in the hands of public property. But we find that the staffing does not, or the levels of staffing do not match that level of responsibility. And so are any of those proposed staffing increases geared towards speeding up response and processing time for land that's in public properties inventory? And if not, how is your department doing its part to meet the mayor's goal of 30,000 new housing units? And I think at the crux of my questioning is just wanting to see a higher level of priority given to the vacant land in your inventory. I know that there's a lot of work that takes place with buildings, but vacant land is our key to creating more affordable housing. And so can you please talk about the request for staffing level increases, and just talk overall about how you're going to build your capacity to manage vacant land and to truly participate in the home initiative?
Thank you, Councilmember. 100% agree with you. And that's a part of onboarding my deputy. And we also are onboarding GIS people to navigate all. It was a slow process in the first 2 years, I feel, and that's where we knew we needed to bolster our staff. And I think the first step was hiring a deputy. Okay. And then talking with them to see what they need. And that is our full plan, to onboard real estate managers, people to help get them responses quickly and move quickly. But also we need to, what we're trying to do is, as far as the GIS, I would love to figure out all the vacant properties. We have ideas, we get reports from different council districts of vacant properties, and we've been doing a great job of fencing off certain properties for the past years. So with the GIS team, I want to do an interactive map of when I click on your district. I want to see it pop up vacant lands, vacant lots, what's working on, and more of a detailed approach. So I'm trying to ask you just to bear with me a little bit while I build this end of our team up.
Okay.
I built in the beginning, just facilities-wise, HR department. Now I'm moving on to the real estate department. So we're doing our best, and we are in the process. We're going to start hiring. But I wanted that deputy to pick their people to be hired.
Okay, when is the deputy supposed to be on board?
Yeah, deputy just got onboarded last week.
Oh, okay, that person's on board.
Yeah, freshly new. This is what
Okay.
that's why I'm trying to get a grasp, and then as far as the questions of portfolios and things that we could do, strategic planning, this is all part of, God bless you. This is all a part of the plan of building out the real estate division.
Wonderful. I would love to follow up on this. I think you almost need sort of a workflow to think about, the different sort of tasks that you're going to have to carry out as it relates to moving vacant land out of your department, and just making sure that capacity is up to that workflow or that list of tasks. I was actually pretty happy during this budget process. Councilmember Lozada had a lot of questions for Angel Rodriguez about the land bank's operations and how they're staffing up, and I was really pleased with his answers. And a lot of that came out of a hearing that we did last year, where we really pressed the land bank on these issues, and us working together over time. But since the bulk of the city's vacant properties are actually in public property, I think you need a similar kind of very thoughtful, laid out process, particularly if we're going to meet the mayor's goals connected to the home initiative. So this is something that I would love to follow up with you on.
No, totally agree. I would love to work, and that's my goal. Let me build a team. And then we'll, we're going to move. I know we still have to move swiftly to do things, but we're going to build that team up and build it out, and you'll see the difference next year.
Great, and just to close, we want to be your partners in that. I have a lot of vacant land in my district. I could probably give you every single scenario that could come up and talk about what went right and what didn't. We want to be your partner in making this process faster and smoother.
I totally agree. I would love for that to happen. Love for that to happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Chair recognizes Councilmember Squilla.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Joe. And Joe, appreciate all your help and service and dealing with our inquiries. Mr. Brasky, I want to thank you also for the work we've done with some of our Paco Station stairs and replacement of the steps. Is that work now complete?
We're getting there. We're doing little by little as far as, making sure we have enough treads and finding times that they're convenient to do it, but we're hoping to spruce up. We did the painting, we added the gates with your help, which is much appreciated. Thank you. The neighbors are a lot better. We're getting compliments. They're seeing the differences. So, yes, we do a flight. They just did a flight, a couple of the treads. So it's constantly ongoing, sprucing up, graffiti removal. We're just continually to improve cleaning.
What I also appreciate is the collaboration. It seems like the coordination with PACO now, DRPA. Is that something now that you feel you have a good relationship where you could work together on these things? Because it was always in the past, it was passing a buck. It's not us, it's them, it's not public property, it's there. And so we can never figure it out. But it seems like recently there's been some work where if it's not you guys, you work with the RPA, and if it's not them, PACO, or they work with you. Is that something that will continue? Do you have a good relationship with them now? And can we share resources when we do have those challenges?
Yes, we 100% have a better relationship now, more communication. With our partner, Frank Kelly, since he joined. We've been partnering together, helping each other out, making sure, just communicating and working on the same page and not saying this is your problem, this is our. So we do have a great partnership, and I feel we can continue that moving forward.
All right, and then last thing, there was I guess, the Fleet building down in South Philadelphia. They were going to install, I think, new gas pumps from the fire station. Is that something that's moving forward?
Yes, that is moving forward. We just had a meeting with Fleet on site. That's where one of the spots that we're talking about putting the fast chargers and the level 2 chargers. Joe could speak more on the project, but it is moving forward with our diagrams and our concepts.
Is there a timeline? Is that going to be like end of the year, next year, or do we have any idea?
The fast charger should be up and running hopefully within 6 months. And the fuel site, we're doing above ground tank there. It should be hopefully 8 months, if everything goes well, because we have to remove the tank from the
police station,
from the police district.
All right, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thanks for your help.
Thank you, Councilmember Squilla. Chair recognizes Councilmember Harity.
Thank you, Councilmember. Joe and Joe, how you guys doing today?
What's up, Councilmember? How you doing?
I really actually don't have many questions, but I just want to start. You guys are in two departments that are not, let's say, very glorious. You know what I mean? But when it's not done well, we can see it. Want to commend public property first on the way that they've been keeping City Hall, the People's Building. I don't have many dealings with you outside of, polite conversation, and that's because when I call your people, they're on it. I don't have to call you. And Commissioner Rosati, I remember the 90s coming to see you on Richmond Street in 93, I think, when I worked for the controller's office, when I had to get Cy Elska, I was his driver, so I had to get his car serviced. So I know that you've worked your way up and been through every department. And like I said, leaders lead, and you could see it in just the dealings. I'm not easy. My schedule will tell you I'm always flipping my schedule around because I'm citywide. And Master Street, when I tell you, they're always accommodating. They make sure they take care of my car on Thursdays when I'm in council because they know I'm stuck and I'm not going to try to run out anywhere. But they always make sure that I'm able to get around, and whenever we get a call, and when I first got started, we had a couple of mishaps where we locked the keys in the car, and we still had one of the cars that you couldn't get in. Most of them with the key fobs and all, it's easy, but my car's still a little bit older, and plug for our new vehicles. too. But just want to thank you guys, because I know you guys take heat a lot of times for when people's cars aren't ready and they got to go, and when City Hall's not looking proper. But I just got to say, you guys have been doing a great job, and the new lighting is fantastic out there in the hallways. You can actually see yourself now out there. It was very depressing before that. So great job, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Well, in the spirit of Councilmember Harity, thank you. I just want to echo and say thank you to you both for the work that you do. Earlier, you highlighted somebody. You said he's been working with you since he was a teenager. I believe you said his name was Rashid.
Rashid Kirkland.
Can you stand up again, sir? Just want to say thank you for the work that you do, as well as all of the people that you supervise. You said a third of your department works under him.
Yep.
And I think that's a great story, and I think the more stories we can highlight, like Rashid, who's been with the city, been dedicated to the city and serviced the city, I think it's a great narrative, and I think that's the way that we get more people involved in city jobs and city programs. So Rashid, thank you. Thank you to all of the workers that work in both of your departments and all of the people who move our city forward. Thank you so much. Councilmember Harity, in the mic.
If you look on his lapel over there, I peeped it. I didn't say nothing yet, but he's got a lot of light over there. He's one of my brothers, you know what I mean?
I can't talk about that too much, but I will say thank you for your service, sir, and the people who work underneath you. Dr. Phillips, briefly, and then we got to go to Councilmember Young, because it's his turn.
I thought it was wrapping up, but I just want to say thank you also, Commissioner, for your work with helping us get our Fifth Street office and our Wadsworth office location, Pat Livingston, and then, everyone else who's been a part of that process. So, you guys have been really good. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr.
Rick
Phillips.
Mariano, too.
No, thank you, Doc. And it's just important that you guys, and I know sometimes it could become redundant, but I think it's important that folks who work for the city hear this from the people who call them all the time and ask them to do stuff all the time on behalf of the constituents that we represent. So Councilmember Harity, Doc, and all the other members who, thanked you all for the great work you do. I just want to put a point of emphasis on that. Chair recognizes Councilmember Young. And then I see Councilmember Landau. Well, Councilmember Bass.
Councilmember Bass had a point of information, yeah.
Ah, okay. I'm sorry, Councilmember Bass.
No, I just wanted to jump on the thank you bandwagon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just in pulling together our district offices, it's challenging, and I just really wanted to say your office and staff, just really professional and helpful and in every way possible. So, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You can see you have two of the more difficult departments in the city of
No,
Philadelphia
yeah.
as it relates to the work that you do. So we all appreciate not just you, but the people who work for you.
Appreciate it.
Councilmember Young.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'm going to go on the same bandwagon. I mean, your departments touch every single department that the city has, both of yours. So I really do want to thank you for the work you do, because you have to deal with not only our craziness on council, but the other stuff from other service departments. I can't even imagine what you got to deal with from police, right? So, so again, thank you for the work that you do.
Appreciate it.
But one thing I do want to note, as I have been highlighting in the budget for the Department of Public Property, is that there seems to be a decrease in the minority, women, and disadvantaged participation in professional services. For FY24, it was a 64% goal. For FY25, it's 37%. For FY26, it's 40%. But for the Q1 and Q2 of FY26, it's only been at 14%. So even if we were to double that, it would say it's 28%, but it's lower than that 40% goal, lower than the FY25. So I just wanted to make a note of that for the record, Mr. Chair, and just seeing that these trends seem to happen more than in one office. But my questions for Fleet. It's been noted that you guys have a robust internship program, but it seems like the workers are overwhelmed by just the amount of work they have, particularly with the interns. And there needs to be, I guess, more qualified technicians that are able to actually train and mentor these interns that are there. I know parking authority folks probably make like 20 grand more than what the City of Philadelphia fleet management workers make. And so how can we get your department to be on parity with other municipal departments or other municipal agencies that have similar functions?
Yeah, we've been working on that to try and increase our technical staff's salaries with HR, and we'll continue to do that, because it is important. We want our people to get paid.
Yeah, I mean, we can clearly see it's literally apples for apples when it comes to, some of the things that your folks are doing and some of the things that the parking authority folks are doing. And so I really think if you, as someone who appreciates what your office does, if there is an ask for that increase, I'm sure that you see all of us thanked you, right? So we would be pushing for you to be on parity with some of, with a comparable municipal authority to ensure that those city workers are able to, make a living right here in the city of Philadelphia and want to stay working for the city of Philadelphia. We commend that gentleman working for 30 years, but there are others who don't stay for a variety of reasons, and pay should not be that reason, I think. I think we should be able to pay our workers what their worth is. Because we need them. Like I said, your department touches every single department in the city, so you are highly valued, and I think that we should pay our workers in that vein. But one final question is, we know that tools are expensive for our auto mechanics, and so what are we doing to help technicians bear the burden to purchase tools?
We get a yearly tool allowance. I think it's about $500 a year.
I mean,
but a technician's tools are could be up to $20,000. Some of these tool sets are pretty expensive.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, for $500 really is only a couple of pieces, right? So that's not really going to provide them with the full set that they need to do their job, to the capacity, to the best capacity. And I think that's one of the things that could help with retaining some of our employees in that matter, is making sure that they are fully equipped to do the job that we're asking them to do. So again, my ask is that if there's anything that you all can ask of us to help be your advocates to ensure that those men and women who are working for you have adequately have the adequate tools they need to do their job, or adequately paid. That's something that we would be more than willing to work with you on to increase. And just for the record, I know the council president mentioned something earlier today about Strawberry Mansion Day. From my information, Strawberry Mansion Day is still happening. It's ran by a local community group, so just want to put that out there for the record, Mr. Chair. And so thank you, Mr. Chair. That's all the questions I have.
Thank you, Member Young, and we will close out with Councilmember Landau.
Thank you so much. I just have a couple of public property questions. Thank you for being here. Sorry I came in midway, but I wanted to get an idea of what you were talking about with GIS mapping of public spaces. Are you saying that we're still working on mapping all city-owned properties?
That's correct. It was never mapped out so I'm building it out.
Mm-hmm.
We do have, we go off different data sheets of what we have in our inventory, also with the land bank. But that's one of the things that I felt that we had to build out to really take over our assets and know what's what in each district for when a council member comes to ask questions. We have that information readily available. So
absolutely,
that's number one. That'll make the easiest, most efficient way to track, even on our interior spaces of MSB, OPB, stacking plans, vacancies. It's all interactive that we want to build out, and that's why we're trying to build that up.
I gotta tell you, I'm just amazed that it's 2026 and we're still talking about this. Thank you for doing it, but I can't imagine how you move your work forward if we don't know this. So I appreciate so much that you're doing it.
It's just going to make everything so much easier. No, I totally agree, and that's part of the vision that I see and what I feel we're lacking in. And we're gonna
So
bring it.
sometimes I've noticed in the city, if we take long enough to get something done, technology is so far ahead of us that it makes it easier. And I think there are very simple ways to get this done, much easier ways than it would have been had it been done 10, 15 years ago.
100%, and that's what we're navigating, software programs to help us with that. Bringing on our new Deputy Commissioner of Real Estate, who've worked with public property years ago and also worked on the federal level. They had privilege to the system. So we're trying to incorporate that, and we're building out a great GIS team to help us do that.
Do your IT people, are your IT people overseen by the Office of OIT?
Yes, we have one OIT person that works with us, but OIT is our technological. So we work in parallel with them.
Thank you. So I had two other questions. The first is, State Representative Elizabeth Fiedler, in collaboration with the Sunrise Movement, champions Solar for Schools, which utilizes municipally controlled assets to implement solar infrastructure. Is there a plan to install energy-efficient material? You said you had a plan to install energy-efficient materials in FY27, and also an increase in Class 200 budget because of utility consumption. Is this an opportunity to install solar panels in our more modern and structurally sound buildings? And what energy-efficient materials are planned to be installed? And is there an estimate of how much increase in spending we would have if to invest in these solar panels?
For the solar panel standpoint, we'd work with the Office of Sustainability and the Energy Office to help us incorporate that. And we'd be open to any option we have to save on our utilities, 100%. Using our energy efficient, we speak of that as when we're doing an office fit out, dimmable LED lights, occupancy sensors. We also incorporated our BAS system for our HVAC equipment to go down and shut off overnight to save energy that way. So we're looking for different possibilities. And mainly our LED lighting projects is our energy savings, but you can only get so much out of that. So I do work closely with the Office of Sustainability and Don McGraw and his crew to any ideas they may have, and we always push back and forth and we talk it out, and we can always talk about them possibilities.
One final question. Thank you for that. What process do you go through with decision-making to lease out public spaces, including parking lots?
For parking lots, that would be in coordination with PPA, with Philadelphia Parking Authority. And it's full. Go ahead.
What if it was a vacant city space and another entity just wanted to park their vehicles there?
We do have a couple of them lots that the neighborhoods do use. We maintain, clean, trash removal, sidewalk, snow removal. So them spaces that we do own, we just give that liability, we give that to the neighbors and then let them for use of a neighborhood use.
Do you make those decisions internally yourself, or do you do that with other city departments and agencies?
Mostly with the interdepartmental stuff.
So if, for example, the former Roundhouse, which is vacant and has a parking lot, if one of our federal partners, like ICE, wanted to park their vehicles there, how much permission would they need in order to execute a contract to park there? Could it be just you with fleet, or would it have to go through multiple levels?
I think it would have to go through multiple levels, and that's a private parking lot just for our facilities people, and it's really a staging area for our barricades and trailers. PPD internally uses it along with our event staff, but it's not a lot that we...
If there were schools, well, not schools, if there was a rec center with a parking lot on the weekend and an entity like the federal ICE wanted to park there, would that be a decision that you could make internally, or would it, what decision-making process?
No, that would be up to Parks and Rec. They maintain their facilities and their operations, so I really wouldn't have much.
So you're saying that each city entity makes its own decisions as to what to do with its public spaces?
As far as you're just talking about parking lots?
Yes.
For the most, they should be secured parking lots. As far as any streets department, if they have equipment, fleet, also, they should be secure parking lots. So that would be, it would stand out if anybody was using it that they're not supposed to be using it. We haven't never gave permission to use any of our lots. So for most part, it's just mostly any of our bigger departments, they're going to have secured lots for their equipment and their personnel.
And last one is, if you had a library that wasn't normally open on a Sunday, want to agree to allow ICE officials to be in there during a very hot day, are they allowed to make that decision themselves?
No, I feel that would be a bigger ask, and it's pretty much our property, so we would have the say over what goes on there, and I'm not sure with the libraries, their hours of Saturdays and Sundays, but I feel hopefully they're locked down during the weekends.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilmember Landau. There being no other questions, the chair recognizes Councilmember Dr. Anthony Phillips for a motion that the public hearing and the meeting and the bills and the resolution before the committee today stands in recess until Wednesday, April 1st, 2026 at 10 a.m.
So moved.
It's been moved and properly second that the public hearing and meeting on the bills and resolutions before the committee today stand in recess until 10 a.m. on Wednesday, April 1st at 10 a.m. We will stand in recess until that time, and we will reconvene in room 400 of City Hall. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it and the motion carries. The committee will stand in recess until Wednesday, April 1st at 10 a.m., at which time we will reconvene in room 400 of City Hall. Thank you, everybody.